Hello, everyone. I know the agenda said we weren't starting until 7 o'clock, but we do have a few people here who probably need to hit the road, because a lot of us don't like to drive at night anymore, at least I'm getting that way. First of all, I want to thank all of you for being here. This is probably the most fun night, I think, that there is in our guild. Although the ice cream social could take a good back seat, but not too far back. I want to thank our my co-chair, Karen Hurt. Karen, please stand up. You don't have to come on over. She's the one that made sure all of you got food and all of the pretty designs on the tables, as well as the drinks and so on. So, and Karen's cruise always does an amazing job. So thanks, Karen. And I would also like to thank my helpers. I have 2 photographers that are running around, so smile pretty if they come and see you. My helpers are helping me set up the Lovie display. The So Mary group needs a special attention because we do nothing but charity at all of our events. And I think when we were doing them about a week or so ago, we had 84 that we were going to be bringing with us. But that didn't mean that that was all. So, and there's only, there's, let's see, there's only like 10 of us, so that's pretty good considering. And let's see. So we're very excited to have with us the Shriners Hospital from Chicago, Family and Children. So yes, go ahead, give a round of applause. They do a lot of amazing things for people here in the Kalamazoo area. So it's not like we're giving away to another state. They're actually, most of these things go to people from Kalamazoo area. We have Family and Children's Services. They're back with us again this year. We're very happy to be here. We have the YWCA and all of the great works that they do as well. And last but not least is our Binky Patrol, which I did not know this till tonight is actually a national organization, and just so happens we have one of the coordinators for Kalamazoo here. So welcome to Colorado. So the Lovie program was started about in 2002. And Jenny Hessler, are you here tonight? Oh good, that means I won't make a mistake here. In saying that, because I'm pretty sure that from what she told me, that's when it was. And they gave out about 150 of these little bundles here in that first year that they did it in 2002. So we have been working pretty hard over the years. And the last time I looked, can't remember the exact count, but it was over 5,000. That we have given to organizations. And yeah, give yourselves a round of applause because it's all because of you ladies and gentlemen who sew, and even our support systems, our husbands or significant others, you know, they're the ones that have to listen to us say, oh, God, rip this out again. Or, did you take my scissors and use them in the garage? Or, you know, where's that pattern? I know I had it here a few minutes ago. So, you know, it's a team effort from not just that. But if you look here at all these Lovies, they just are smiling at us. They're just saying, we're so happy that you made us and gave us a little blanket to curl with so that we can go and give some little child joy, even if they're hurting really bad, from homeless situation to being in the hospital, going through treatments of some sort. So all these Lovies are just anxious and ready to go to their homes tonight. And we decided this year that one of the organizations wanted some teen Lovies. So it was kind of hard to figure out what kind of a stuffed animal you could give them. But there was a football in one of them, or a couple of them, and there's a not a Darth Vader, the Mandalorian guy from Star Wars. You know, so there's a few of those right there. So that ought to make some kids happy. So, so tonight we're going to start off with the Shriners Hospital. The director of the Mr. Dan Winter is here. He has also brought Bob and Judy DeHaan with him. They're from the Kalamazoo area. And Doris Frost is actually the one that had the Shriners be involved with us, because her husband used to take truckloads and go to the Chicago area, and he would take Lovies with him, and they would drop them off at the Shriners Hospital. So this program going there has been over 10 years or more. Is that right, Doris? So, do you want to say any more about it, Doris, before? No, thank you. Okay. So what I guess we'll do is, how about you, Linda? Do you want to say any more about it, about your dad doing that? Well, Mert was a real great guy for doing that for us, and making sure that some Lovies got 2 kids in Chicago that were there from our area, especially during the holidays. That makes it kind of tough. So, Mr. Winter, if you'd like to come on up and say a few words, here we are. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Terry. It's a delight to be here. The first time I've ever been to a quilting party. So, mark that off my bucket list, I suppose. Shriners Hospital in Chicago is one of 22 major locations across North America for Shriners. We're a specialty pediatric hospital system. We look after children with a variety of very specific conditions in orthopedics, craniofacial issues, or cleft lip and palate. In Chicago, we also help children that have had a spinal cord injury and need rehabilitation. And in some of our other locations, we help children that have suffered burns and need a lot of care around that. We're a very busy location for the Shriners. We see 20,000 patients a year in our outpatient clinic, 20,000 in our rehab area. We do about 1,200 surgeries. Within the orthopedic care, our chief of staff is a spine surgeon. He has a team of 3 spine surgeons that work with him. And he looks after children with scoliosis, and his ambition is to help the children with the most severe cases of scoliosis. And we're frankly known for that around our system and around the world. We care for children all over the Midwest. They're driven to our hospital by kind gentlemen like Bob DeHaan here, who will get up at 3 in the morning and drive an hour in the wrong direction to pick up a patient in order to bring them to Chicago. And they do that all over the Midwest to bring them to Chicago. We serve every one of our patients without regard to their family's ability to pay or insurance status. Though we accept insurance, we will not allow insurance to dictate to us the course of treatment for a patient. So while we hear that our course of treatment is the right one, the physician for the insurance company will often tell us, oh, I'm sorry, we won't be able to pay for that. But you're right, that's the right way to do it. To give you a sense of that, in Chicago last year, the entire year, we spent $65 million on everything that we do. We collected $15 million from insurance. My team brought in about $7 million in current dollars, and you can, I don't know how good you are at math, but there's still a big gap there. The difference was filled by folks that were kind enough to remember us in their estate plan or will. And we have an endowment that's been building since the 20s that now stands at $12 billion that allows us to be sure to offer to every patient we see the course of treatment that they need to ensure that they will have a productive and happy life as much as we can let them in. So in scoliosis care, often our patients need to be with us for more than 2 months wearing a halo and a traction. So 2 months away from home, wearing a halo device all day and all night. Our beds are set up with pulleys to allow the traction to continue, even while they're sleeping. So they're with us for a long time before they have surgery. And the surgeries that we do are very unique. we can implant a special rod next to their spine that has a device that allows us to spread it to resist another surgery later. So as they grow, the device will grow, and they don't need further surgery. Each of those devices costs $40,000. And insurance will sometimes pay for one, but not the other innovation. I'm so glad I don't work in the insurance industry. But since they're with us for an awful long time, those particular patients and our rehab patients that are in, learning to use a wheelchair or new limbs. We had a patient recently, last Thanksgiving, that came to us. He was a cross-country runner, 16 years old, great athlete, and the best attitude you could possibly hope for, a teenager. But he got an infection, and he lost all 4 limbs. He was stabilized at Vanderbilt in Tennessee, and then flew up to us for rehabilitation to learn how to walk with new limbs. And he got so good with this prosthetic. We hadn't started out with claws. And he got so good with that, he could put his contact lenses in with his claws. And he was such a wonderful spirit that we all were sorry to see him go, although we were happy he could resume his life. But he just lifted all of our spirits. Wonderful person. But I want to give you all a sense of what difference a quilt and these Lovies would make for them. So patients that are with us for months at a time, getting ready for a scary surgery, they get a nice fuzzy friend and a blanket that was made with love by somebody that they'll probably never meet. It really improves their outlook. The hospital can be a very scary place to be. A lot of strangers, a lot of noise, and a commotion at all times. And something like these Lovies will make an impressive difference for our patients. So from our patients to all of you, I want to say thank you so much for the Lovies.
Thank you, Dan. There was really an awesome story there. Okay, top this, the rest of you. And your story will be just as impressive, I'm sure. Next, we'll have our little, our Kalamazoo chapter coordinator of the Binky Patrol, Linda Trantham, and her assistant, Nancy Timmons. If you'd like to come on up and give us a little short spiel on you. Come on, Nancy. It's okay. We don't bite.
Hi.
Well, thank you for having us. As Terry said, Binky Patrol is a national organization, and the Kalamazoo chapter is the only chapter in Michigan, unfortunately. The others have closed. I frequently get emails. Can we send you blankets? How do we participate? I, of course, try and encourage them to start their own chapter, but I've not been very successful. So Nancy and I are carrying on, as with a lot of sewing organizations. Membership is dwindling. I don't know. Young people are just a lot busier than us retired folks. In Kalamazoo, the members want to keep what they make in Kalamazoo County. Family and Children's Services gets a delivery probably once a month. Nancy keeps those records, like 15 or 20 a month of blankets, various sizes. Our minimum size blanket is 36 inches by 36 inches. I'm up to twin size. Not only do we donate to Family and Children's Services, we give blankets to Alternatives, the Kalamazoo office over on West Michigan gets plenty for They just have a neat program for moms that find themselves in difficult situations for their anticipated babies. Oh, who else do we give blankets to? Bronson Borges Hospital for the ARC and Caring Network. It's kind of all under the Catholic Charities umbrella. But the ARC is for older kids, so they get the bigger blankets and they get to take them with when they move out of the ARC and start back home, back to independent living. I think one of the things that got me most interested, and it might have been a donation to Family and Children's Services maybe 10, 15 years ago, was a very different, it wasn't the traditional quilt, but kind of a Sherpa with some other backing and tied, and it was given to a young man that was transitioning out of foster care into independent living. And until he got that blanket, he had been covering with his winter jacket. That's all he had to cover with at night. And when I heard that, it was like, okay, I gotta keep on doing this. We need more people to make these blankets. The lovies that we will receive tonight will be spread among 3 different volunteer fire departments for their first responders to carry with them when they encounter a car accident involving a child. They have something to give the child because it's scary to be in an accident. It's scary as an adult, let alone a child. We've done that in the past with the lovies we've received, and the fire departments just love having that they can offer some comfort in a scary situation. If any of you want to come and sew, we don't sew so much at our meetings anymore, but we do meet once a month, maybe once every 2 months. Depends on what Nancy can arrange with the facility we meet in and her schedule. But we're there for a couple of hours the 3rd Wednesday of a month. Maybe some of us are working on blanket, maybe we're cutting some hats out, maybe we're tying no-sew fleece, or maybe we're just dropping in and receiving blankets that people have made. So that's what we're about, and if you would like to get in touch with us, I've got both Nancy and my email addresses on some papers. You can always go to the Binky Patrol website, binkypatrol.org, and you will find all the chapters all over the United States. Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Linda. As you know, even just one little Binky Patrol person can make 1 or 2 quilts, and those will be honored for someone that they will love to have those. So next on our list, we'll have the YWCA of Kalamazoo. We have Emily Deering, who is the director, and Jolie, and I'm not going to say her last name because I won't be able to say it. And she's the grant coordinator. So ladies, come on up and tell us a few stories that we can smile about too.
Thank you so much. Yes, everyone, hello, good evening. I am Emily. Okay. Emily Deering Caruso, and this is Jolie Benjamina. We are both from YWCA Kalamazoo. YWCA Kalamazoo is the oldest and largest YWCA in the state of Michigan. We are very proud that this year we are celebrating our 140th anniversary. That is 100, yes. 140 years of continuous service here in the Kalamazoo community. Most of you probably know our work through our pillar of caring for survivors of violence. That's where we support families who are recovering from domestic violence, sexual assault, and human trafficking. All of our services are open to anyone from anywhere, and we do have some specialty services to make sure that all of our services are accessible and people are able to reach us and receive the care that they need. We also have home visitation programs. That is where we will work with pregnant and caregiving folks, and we will go into their homes. We will help them learn things from breastfeeding and how many times do I really have to feed this baby and will I ever sleep again, and help them answering those questions, as well as provide some life skills and resource connection. We have 2 child care centers where we focus on early learning, childhood development, and we have career pathway programs for our staff within all of those pillars. So essentially, YWCA Kalamazoo serves this community from the cradle all the way through the career to make sure that people are provided with full wraparound resources and are met where they are right now with whatever they need right now. And that is why we are very proud to be part of YWCA Kalamazoo. So the Lovies in particular, so I've been at YWCA for coming up on 10 years. And this was one of the first events that I did years ago as a little executive assistant. And I was like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? What is a Lovie? Like, what? And I was blown away, as I continue to be tonight. The Lovies we use in a really, really fun event in the holidays. We have a holiday party for our clients. We're able to provide that to them. It's a nice little gift. It's a great celebration. And that's something that's kind of one moment in time. But the other couple of times that we use Lovies are really, really important and really impactful. We have an on-site shelter for survivors of violence, and that is anyone who identifies as a woman and their dependent children. We see hundreds of children in this shelter each year. Hundreds. And in this emergency shelter, they will stay with us for, maybe a few weeks. It varies, whatever they need. But they may come to us in the middle of the night. They may come to us with nothing but their shoes, hopefully. I've been there in the middle of a night where the family came in with their car. They had the dog and the cat in the car. The kids were in their footy jammies. And they needed to go. They needed to find safety, and they found us. And so when they arrive, we get to give them a Lovie. So when Nancy's mentioning them smiling at us, I feel like that actually happens and is a moment for these kids where they have something warm and cozy that smiles at them. And then the other way that we use the Lovies is through our sexual assault nurse examination program. So unfortunately, we are the provider of those services for the county, and we do provide a large number of pediatric examinations each year. And what that means is that we provide a safe, comforting environment for the child, but also for the parents and for the caregivers, all of whom are going through unimaginable things. And we are able to provide them with this environment. We have a nice little cozy sitting area. We have all of these different spaces for them to be in. And the kiddos walk away with a Lovie. And sometimes that is one of the first moments that you get that child to open up, to take a pause, to take a breath, remember they're a kid, and smile as their Lovie smiles back. So thank you so very much, the bottom of my heart, our hearts, for these Lovies and providing that for us year after year. Thank you.
Okay, take a deep breath, everyone. That was quite a few stories there. We are, this next year, I don't know if you know for sure, Emily, but we are going to be helping the co-group house again with some quilts that's our June project. And that's a biggie that we, when Terry Spolinka came and talked with us, she gave us just a few little tidbits and it made everyone shiver. So we appreciate the stories and we appreciate you being there for those children. So, okay, and certainly last but not least at all, because I know you guys have stories too, is Family and Children's Services. This is Courtney Van der Molen, who's the Director of Resource Development, and Heather Vetto, who's the Resource Development Coordinator. So who wants the mic first? No. Courtney, take it.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. I see we're videotaping here. Heather and I are so happy to be here tonight. We learned a lot at our table about quilt making tonight. And I realized it takes a lot of small pieces and all those pieces put together into bigger pieces and all those pieces put together into bigger pieces to make an amazing work of art, which is a quilt. And it got me thinking about, as I'm listening to all of this amazing work from the other partners who are lucky enough to receive Lovies tonight. I mean, the Shriners work, it's so inspiring and so needed. And we partner with Binky Patrol and the YWCA. We really are lucky in Kalamazoo. We have so many caring and supportive community partnerships working in nonprofits to support the needs of children and families. It's really amazing that we all can partner and work together. And so kind of like a quilt, I think our Kalamazoo community is very much kind of in that same vein when I think about it. I also had fun. We had fun talking to Dawn and Reed, who, if you don't know, this month is National Adoption Month. And so you might have seen on the news some celebrations of National Adoption Day. And it's really exciting. I just heard in a meeting this morning that there were 8 children served by Family and Children's Services that found a permanent loving home and a place, some parents to call their own just last Friday in Kalamazoo. So it was a small sibling group of brothers that had been in the foster care system for a little while who were adopted by relatives, which is really important to preserve the sense of culture and family identity and community for those kids. So to have them adopted together is really unique and special. And we were able to talk about that at our table, how important that is to keep those kids together. And then there was a young 8-year-old who finally found their permanent home through a licensed foster home. And so that's one of the services that Family and Children's Services provides is foster care. So we recruit and license foster homes in the community. And we also support relatives out in the community that are considering bringing children in their family, whether it's a sibling, it could be a grandchild. We have a lot of grandparents raising grandchildren these days. So we need a lot of things, a lot of supports to surround them and help them to maybe understand caregiving today and help support their basic needs. We also have 2 residential homes here in Kalamazoo. One we call Gail's House and one we call Glenn's House. Gail's House is for older youth, so not little children, but I don't know, young teens. So we were the ones that requested a few Lovies for teens. And those young girls who are part of the foster care system are living with us temporarily, 24/7. Any day of the week, we take youth all times of the year over the holidays. Unfortunately, youth do not have any parents that still have their rights. They've had their rights removed, so they've been living in a residential community setting. But they have behaviors related to their past trauma that is unfortunately prohibiting them from being successful in those residential settings or in a foster home. So they come to us and we wrap them around with counseling and with nursing and 24/7 support. And so that's one of the reasons why we wanted the Lovies for the older teens, so that when those young people are living with us, we'll have them there for Thanksgiving and throughout the Christmas holidays. that they'll be presented with a lovey on their beds to welcome them and something that they can snuggle and feel special over the holidays. The other loveys are going to go to children that we're serving in our foster care. And like the Y discussed, the emergency shelter, as you know, I think a lot of people are familiar with foster care. Again, you know, many times Child Protective Services deems that it's unsafe in the middle of the night due to domestic violence situation or other situation, and children are removed with nothing but what they have on, their pajamas. They're not able to take toys and clothes. So we're able to provide these loveys to those kids as well. And if you know foster care, it takes a lot for those kids to be removed from their parents. And so whatever's going on in their home has been very traumatic, and it's a matter of safety for those kids. So to provide something to for them to hold on to and to feel that sense of safety when they're in that traumatic situation is really, really important. We're really, really grateful for that. So a little more about Family and Children's Services. We've been around since 1903, so a very long time serving in Kalamazoo, and we do provide other behavioral health services as well. We have outpatient counseling and so on. So just please spread the word about the need for foster parents. There are 10,000 kids in Michigan alone who are looking for that forever home. So like some wonderful, loving, potential respite foster parents were at our table, perhaps you'll be inspired to consider that or to spread the word. So thank you so much for all the beautiful love and care that you've put into these loveys. We promise, and I'm not speaking for Heather, but she gets to do this every single day, make sure that these loveys go in the hand of those kids. And so they're going to be very, very special to them, so, and very, very loved. So thank you for sharing this with us again this year. We're really grateful to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, another worthwhile organization that we're happy to service you as often as we can. Does anybody have any questions for any of our recipients about their work or how to get involved or whatever? No? Are y'all sleeping? Okay, well, at this time, everybody wants to know, how many loveys did we make this year? Well, it just so happens, my team, and you all know who you are, if you can come on and step forward, we're going to go ahead and we're going to start bagging the loveys up into bags, and we're going to count them at the end. And so before you all leave tonight, you'll know exactly how many loveys we were able to give to our organizations. And again, I just want to thank all four of our organizations for being open to our lovey program and for being here tonight, and wishing that all of the stories could be happy ones, because I was told there was not an ugly quilt. Well, we don't want to have an unhappy child. So that's why we're making quilts for them. So, okay, we'll get back with you shortly.
Linda used to be in a quarter. What's that?
That's 10.
Anyway, you can tell me how far. So anyway, so yeah. Nancy. So that's kind of how that. Okay. Unfortunately.